Hi, everybody. Dan DeFedericis, Saratoga Report, and I'm here with somebody new, or at least new to me, maybe not new to you. Jeff Olson. Jeff Olson is a Saratoga Springs resident in the east side of town, and he is here today because he has known City Public Works Commissioner Chuck Marshall for many, many years, and we've been getting insight about Chuck from a number of people involved with him in different ways. And Jeff is a former neighbor, a friend, I won't say more. I'll let Jeff say it. Jeff, how are you enjoying this awesome week here in Saratoga, and how you doing?
Well, it has been great. We live in a really amazing place, and Cafe Lena last night, walked the dog out at the battlefield this morning. It's just,
Wow.
let's hope we can keep making it better, but it's already pretty great.
Yeah, I don't get the Cafe Lena enough. They were Saratoga Report's original advertiser. I think Sarah and Mateo, they've been big supporters of this website. I've been big supporters of them. My daughter used to take music lessons there, but I just don't get there enough, so I'm jealous. And the battlefield and the 250 celebration, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here. That is terrific as well. But Chuck Marshall, you've known him for a number of years, and before we get to him, real quick, how did you get to Saratoga Springs? Were you born here? Did you move here 20 years ago? Tell me your Saratoga story.
I'm a third generation Saratogian, but it skipped my grade school through high school years. My mother left town when she was 18. I pretty much moved back here when I was 18. I went to college at RPI, and have been in this region ever since. And I grew up really loving this place. I got to spend time here with my grandparents and really saw what this community could be and the potential. Bear in mind, in the 1970s and 80s, this was not the wonderful place that it is right now. And have been involved in a lot of the change and helped make a lot of that happen with all kinds of other people that have just that's what motivates me is to keep making our community a better place.
Do you know, Jeff, this is the second conversation of this nature I've had in the past 90 minutes of someone else that just, loves Saratoga, born here, tries to help and so forth. And I feel the same way. My website, Saratoga Report, is sort of a love letter to Saratoga. I just felt it needed something like that. Anyway, Chuck Marshall, you've known him for a number of years. You seem to be savvy about the city and the makeup of the city and the government to know what the Commissioner of Public Works does and so forth. Can you just talk on that? I don't know if I gave you enough of a lead in. Just kind of respond to that.
Yeah, sure. And I know Chuck in a professional capacity when he has worked at Stewart's for many years. Our work has intersected a number of times. I've been involved in some of the major trail projects locally here in New York State and around the world with my company. And we've had a number of places where a Stewart's is being cited, and the question becomes, how does that relate to this trail or bike or pedestrian project? And for a number of years, and these have all been non-contractual relationships. I just know that I can call Chuck at Stewart's and say, hey, this project's going in, this could be a trailhead, and maybe Stewart's could help be part of that. And I guess as Bill Dake would say, if it sells more ice cream, it's a great idea. And that's happened in any number of places. I mean, if you ride the rail trail out to Slingerland's, there's a Stewart's with a pathway that cuts right onto the trail, and you see kids biking down and getting ice cream. The Weibel Avenue intersection, right here in Saratoga. I really urge people before this election, go look at the intersection of Weibel and Lake Avenue. Someone died there on a bicycle not that long ago. That intersection has been greatly improved with bike lanes through it. And I know he won't take the credit, but Chuck, really is behind making that happen. And I think that's really, for me, when I see someone running for our city council, I want it to be somebody who knows what they're doing, who's capable, is confident and competent in getting it done. And I think Chuck meets those criteria. I've seen him work. He's straightforward. He's easy to get along with, and he wants to get things done. And just like us, wants to make our community a better place.
Yeah, and you said it right about Chuck. He will not take credit. He delegates well. He trusts his people. He knows that he's not the expert on everything, and he trusts his people to get the job done. Don't get me wrong. He is in charge, but he does it right, and he's a great delegator, and he gives the credit. He will not take hardly any credit. He gives it to the people that work for the city.
And I think
I
that's the hard part. You mentioned our form of government is a challenging part of being here. The commission, with five commissioners. I have never run a company or been part of an organization that had a committee running it. There's got to be somebody in charge, and that makes it very difficult to get things done. We very often have, battles between political parties. Even when we seem to have one party running all five departments, there's battles between them, and it's tough. And like I care a lot about the public space in our town. I was one of the co-founders of the Saratoga Open Space Project, which later merged and became what's now called Saratoga Plan. I am currently the chair of the Saratoga Trails Alliance, and helping to make these projects happen. When anything that has to happen in public space involves, at a minimum, two or three city departments to get it done. You need public works, you need public safety, you probably need finance. There's a good chance you need the planning department, the mayor's office. You know, getting all those things lined up in a commission form of government is not easy. And I think that's one of the challenges we face, unless we have another charter vote, which did not pass the last time. And until such time, we need people that can go in there and make things happen and work in a collaborative way, be civil with their peers, know how to compromise or to collaborate across the aisles. And again, I feel strongly that Chuck has what it takes to do that.
And we spoke a little bit offline, but I didn't ask you this, and I hope I don't hit you too cold with this question. You seem to, you've interacted with Chuck a lot over the years. I don't know how you and I have never met with all these, with all the involvement you've had and the love for your city. We kind of share that. Obviously, a lot of people do, right? They're
I'm
here,
glad
they're
we have
living here,
now.
they're spending.
This is a good
Uh,
thing. I'm glad we did.
yeah, but you got a war story or a story that illustrates just how capable and reasonable Chuck is? Do you got anything for me? Any example? And I'm in you cold
Yeah.
with this, so I apologize for that.
No, sure. I mean, I would go back to any of those projects where New Paltz, New York, Stewart's is being sited at a fairly important intersection for the Empire State Trail, big initiative for the governor. We're $300 million program built during the pandemic, 68 different projects around the state, and I was directly involved in that. And the Stewart's being built in New Paltz, and of course we get a call, how are we going to get this new section of the trail to happen at this spot? And the general response from most of the people involved at that point was, we're never going to be able to talk to this company and get this stuff done. I said, well, hang on a second. I think we have a way to do that. And I simply called Chuck, and he said, all right, tell me where the site is. What do we need to do? Stewart's was paying to have a new signal put in as part of their site plan. They were able to align their parking and redo the crosswalks at the intersection so that literally Stewart sits right at this important trail junction now. And I was just down there recently, and you see people come off the trail, go straight in and get an ice cream. I mean, that's the perfect thing. And I think a lot of people don't realize that that's the kind of work. First of all, Stewart's great local company. I'm not trying to. This is not a conversation about the company, but Chuck has a key role there. He was brought in to lead that, has done obviously a good enough job that he has stayed in that position for a long period of time. He's been through the development process of those sites so many times. He knows how things work. He's dealt with complicated problems, and he's proven that they can get that work done. And I think that's, again, if you're going to be our public works commissioner and we want a citizen leader who's going to be able to do that, it really helps to have somebody who's done a lot of it. He chaired our planning board. Those are the kinds of things. And I think, the next question we'll probably get to, and I'll just jump to it, is that there's obviously a political side to this. I am an independent. I do not want this conversation to be taken as a political endorsement of any kind, especially in our really fractured politics in this country right now. And I know some of that's going to get tied to this. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. But at some point, we have to be able to see through and elect the people who can get the work done. And I know that's difficult in this community and at this time in this country. And I think that's going to be part of the difficulty that someone with Chuck's qualifications running for the political party that he is going to have to overcome that somehow.
Yeah, this is clearly, I mean, you just feel so genuine. I don't know you. We've only met just now, maybe a phone call the other day. Your respect and admiration for Chuck is just apparent. And not only that, you agree, you and I think alike. It's obvious his resume and his attributes generally are just perfect for this job. And he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
So,
But,
Jeff, I
we
have,
also have, like I was going to say, we also have, yesterday, apparently we had ICE on our streets, taking away local citizens. And the political party that's responsible for that should be held accountable for it. I think it gets back to there must be things that we all see in common, that we want to see good things happen in our community. We love this place that we live in. There are a lot of things we would rather not see happen, and we have to speak out, against those. There's no doubt about it. But this conversation, I really do believe, is about, is this person the right person for the job at the right time? And I do think Chuck is that person.
Excellent. Jeff, I thank you for joining us today. This was helpful. This was insightful. I appreciate this. I appreciate you have such an even-keeled approach to things. Thank God I own Saratoga Report. Otherwise, my boss would probably fire me and hire you because you're so well-spoken. So appreciate you joining me today.
Well, anyone wants to help make this town even better than it is, that's where I want to be, and I think a lot of other people do too. So let's hope that we can rise above the politics of this point in time and really focus on making Saratoga the best place it can be.
Thanks, Jeff, and thanks for
All
joining
right,
us.
thank you. All right.